Alright. The name is Dale. Doing the album review for the new Lloyd Banks, The Course of the Inevitable. This album review is done on behalf of Audio Liquor Magazine. I am not a music critic or a YouTuber. I was asked by the good folks at Audio Liquor Mag to do reviews because I listen to a lot of music. But talking is not my strong suit. I am not a talkative person. But I was asked, so here you have it. Lloyd Banks has been around now for almost 20 years. I think he came on the scene like in 2003, if my memory serves me correctly. He has 4 solo studio albums. He has 2 collabo/group G-Unit albums. And he has his share of mixtapes. Up to this point, I would say his first album, Hunger for More, was his best album. And that still might be true. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment and say this new album is his best album. I want to go back and listen to that first album, but his first album was very strong. He came out the gate swinging. But his 2 albums after that, not so much. They was kind of a disappointment to me. But Lloyd Banks, he gets praised for his mixtapes. People say his mixtapes are very good. Now I have to admit, I've never heard any of his mixtapes. To me, he was always the best out of G-Unit. Even when the Game was still part of G-Unit, how short-lived that was, I thought he was even better than Game at that time. I just thought he was better as far as lyrics goes, as far as metaphors, punchlines, just bars in general. I thought he was better. Maybe 50 Cent had the charisma and the know-how to make better albums, even though I thought Lloyd Banks' first album was very strong. But to me, he was the best as a rapper. And 50 Cent recent years, or even more recent than that, has called him lazy, saying he was lazy back then. He didn't put in the work, questioned his work ethic, and basically saying he could have been bigger if he had put in the work. And he even addresses that on this new album. I forgot what song it was, but he addresses it in this new album. 50 Cent, he's like the Donald Trump of rap. He just disrespected just about everybody that was part of G-Unit. He just took shots and shitted on them in some shape or form. I think the only person I ain't hear him talk about was Tony Yayo. But this new album is his first in 10 years. That's a 10-year gap between albums, which is crazy. And Lloyd Banks is known as the punchline king. He has punchlines out the yin yang, which is very evident with this new album. But he drops life lessons as well. He's talking some grown man shit on here. He gets introspective on here. The lyrics are just top notch overall on this new album. And I'm not going to go into each song in detail. I believe it's like 18 total, which a lot of folks are not doing nowadays. A lot of people are keeping their album short, 10 to 12 to 14 songs. He goes 18 deep. And he has a good deal of features. Not a lot of features, but a good share. Just enough. Not too little and not too many. He has a song called Empathy featuring Freddie Gibbs. That's nice. He has another song called Early Exit featuring Rock Marciano, which is nice. He has another song called Formaldehyde featuring Benny the Butcher. You know, he got spitters on here, well-respected street spitters on his album with him. And he got another joint called Food featuring Styles P, which is nasty. I dig the production on it. One of the standout songs on it. Might be one of my favorite songs on here. Dig the track. It has another track called Falsified with featuring Ransom, which is hot too, which is good too. So there were only like 4 out of 18 songs that I wasn't totally feeling. Well, it was one that I didn't like due to Lloyd Banks' so-called singing on the hook. I didn't like it. He need to stop that. He don't need to be trying to sing. So that blew me. That totally messed the song up for me when he sings on the hook. And you know, the other 3 are just okay. They're not bad. They just okay. The production is done by many different producers. None that I'm familiar with. I didn't know none of the names with the exception of one. I think Alumni Motif did one joint. I'm familiar with him, but everybody else, I had no idea who they were. And it's practically a different producer on every song. But it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound disjointed. It almost sounds like the production is done by 1 or 2 people instead of all these different producers. So the production is very cohesive. It blends very well for him to have so many different producers on this joint. And I would say overall the production is very steady and solid. It has very few highs and very few lows. It's just steady. Just steady. Nothing is very, most of it's not going to blow your mind, but most of it's not going to turn you off. Even be like, what the hell? It's not going to be one of those moments. Just steady. It's just a good ride of music. I really dig it. I give it a strong B+. I highly recommend it. It's better than I thought it was going to be. And for him to have that 10-year gap, I think he's at his best lyrically that I ever heard him. Because he gets deep on his album at times. He doesn't get too deep, but he gets deep enough. You'd be like, oh, what he just said was profound right there. So I recommend you get this joint. There you have it. I'm finished. I'm done. I'm out.